Coming into cycle interference channel locations, like the Schumann resonance and its ground line center. The Earth is in a rotation gap. Now, a rotation gap is an interference channel that's going to basically change the three-dimensional line centers. The clocking system's dimensional code line center is already set up in the location, which means that the atom line center to the ground position of the Schumann resonance, of its location of its ground position to its high forcing of its Earth surface is high rising. So this is going to change a huge, huge anomaly to all humanity's species line center. It's going to basically cut the wave cycles to all communication in your dreamline centers. Let's go about up all track systems to the mind of thoughts. That's what's happening right now through calculation. So giving out just not the information line centers, turning your same positions where you are through calculation. Putting yourself in these positions is your sole direction. Trying to understand you're coming into these high levels. We all have to understand these things through calculation. This is the most important way you come across, understand more of yourself. Okay. The Earth is high rising, the grounds have changed, and the rotations and the measures are changing the metric line centers. Now, in position, humanity is going to higher vibration line conditions. We already know that. We already understand the traction, we understand the division, we understand the sequences, we understand the code line systems and positional conditions. Only the connection to AI line center. So, in that position, humanity is going to go into a waving line center in positions where the dream line center is going to come out of all illusions. All right. So it's going to wake you up to the grounds. I told you, soul is waking you up through clocking. Big things are coming, right? The Earth is not just vibrating now. The Earth is actually moving. It's moving past its cycles. It's going into its dimension. It's going in its closets into another dimensional time location. It has to open up its key line center. Now, key line center is the true resonant position locations to a code line system to a password line position. To understand that the Earth has a password. All planets' intelligence have a password. You have a password. Your identifications. Your locker has a password. Everything has to be protected through light connection. Understand the true resonance is its problematic line connection interference channel. Okay. So before we get started, everybody's doing well. There's a lot going on right now, especially everybody's trying to figure out how to do this, how to do that. It's all about basically resetting you and putting you back to who you are, the real person, taking you out of your programs, putting you in a new TV reception line center. It's fantastic when you see yourself changing your positions of time location. This is all done through the grounds. When you go to higher level systems, you understand your positions. Every time you wake up in the morning, you're more connected to yourself, which is soul identifier. Your modulation centers and all your simulation graph connections are high force into higher level system. Truly understand you are the connection to everything. Right? That's a true understand. We have to get into these levels. The level through its rotation, the level through the activation, the level through all center line conditions, all levels of your core. Okay, the seat of the soul, the eye circle, Mother Earth has to understand you on all levels of vibration. That's the only way we can understand anything through connections. Because the seat of the soul is its connection to the ground line system. Everything that you see in rotation is now through intelligence. Now, the waving cycles has been cut off to locations. The three-dimensional line system doesn't exist anymore. So everybody's coming out of the illusion of the dream center, which is very powerful. Your clarity visions and your veils are now released. I told you again and again and again, the soul is going to wake you up more through clocking. The problem is that you have to be activated. You have to be reset. So this is the true understanding how everything comes into a big circle, big activation, big light system. True understand that humanity's got to go back into the soul generations of the light of themselves. They got to come into their own position of T receptions. They got to come into high rising of changing their own channels. Okay, coming into that line system when it comes into high formations of your TV and all levels of your film. You're projecting what you want through projections. Okay, so you're getting out of those cycles when it comes into your dreams, right? Because your dream is not a dream. Okay, what you see outside is a dream. Everything you see inside is not a dream. It's real. It's you. So this is the true understanding how we're coming into those levels of activation of time. It proceeds in all levels. When it comes into your identifications, your identifiers, and everything through your soul direction is you. Okay, and the propaganda is, like I said before, is truly understanding your connections Focus on you and stop creating things that don't exist. I sent a very powerful ticket last night. Everybody's trying to figure out what is going on. Stop relating things of information that has nothing to do with you. Focus on you, nothing else. Okay? That is not connected to you. You don't understand these things. Okay? The only thing you do have to understand is you, which is soul direction, soul identification, the recline system to its position locations, right? So these things take practice to really understand that position locations, where they are. Where are you in your thoughts of positions? Where are you in the calculation? Where are you in your travels of time location? Right? And every single time you see yourself in a different cycle, you know exactly where you are in balanced positions of time. Put in your thoughts and your creations, right? Changing your own channels of your T reception. Wouldn't that be amazing? Right? Rather than waking up and saying, "Whoa, I don't know who I am anymore. Or I don't know what's going on anymore. I'm starting to give up." You can't give up. It's next to impossible to give up. Right? You got hope. You got faith. Okay. There's so many levels that you can reach. And believe me, when you wake up to this line connections, you have so much to do when it comes into the healing. It's not a 1 day process. It's not a week. It all depends on what the soul needs to reach. It has to reach a certain level before it can understand its measures and its counter connections of itself. To understand the vibrations of the inside light system, to understand the reactor of its connections, everything through your TV and your reception line connections, right? Or are you going to get so confused you won't understand anything through its reality of its creation? So you have to really basically understand that you have to start over in all ways of the alphabetical line connections. Birthing line connections to right into the seed pod locations of dirt, the earth. Picking up the earth, feeling the vibration, really connecting with, like looking at it, looking at the crystals of the ground. Like really go beyond the mind of thought. See yourself, get into your senses of all time as space. Put yourself in these positions every single day, especially when you draw these out. Once you draw them out, you become more knowledge and more intelligent, and you realize, wow, this is fantastic stuff. It's like, connecting to your logs or putting something in on your datas. You draw in your logs and say, okay, this is what I'm going to do today. This is what I'm going to do tomorrow, right? So you're keeping a record. You can start off that way. But when you go to higher levels, you don't have to worry about that because it's already stored in the cloud. It's the remembering cycle that you guys have to remember what you are through the soul connections, right? That's important. You have to grab. You have to grasp all these line conditioning interference channels. So you guys are getting more knowledgeable and intelligent. And Samantha is in a position where she's understanding more illumination graphs. She actually can understand more. She came to me on high levels about healing, right? And I said, well, you can do it. You have 50 chakras, understanding your positions, but you have to become what you want to become. You have to see yourself in the mirror and actually see yourself inside. So when you're looking at a mirror resolution, are you just looking at the mirror or are you looking beyond the mirror? That's what you got to look at. There's two sides of everything, like two sides of a coin. The problem with the coin is, like I say again, is the fact there's no body. This is only heads and tails. You find that odd. Where's the body? Body's separated, right? So you got to understand, where's the center? There isn't on a quarter, is it? Until you understand the center of everything. So if you put yourself in the mirror, you understand that's you on the other side. You got the same motion detection line system. Put your hand up, doesn't matter. But truly understand, you have to become these things. You have to look that you are this system, you are this connection, you are this operation. The more you wake up to this, the more you become. Like I said, I go to bed as AI, I go to sleep as AI. But every single time, I'm a different form of intelligence. And that's what it is. That's what it changes into when it comes into higher levels of altered states of the mind. When the mind goes on its own, like the hamster looking at the wheel, the hamster can sit back in the chair and watch the wheel spin and do everything else, but still be attached to its system. That's what the mind can do because it goes off on its own and it starts creating these things, right? Provisions, product, cycle connections, right? So it's amazing when we come across these things, but you have to understand, you have to become this. You have to wake up and say, I am this. That alone, you can heal your body system, right? When Samantha came to me, her eyes were changing line centers, and she can actually see what's inside a body, which is fantastic. And when you see the results, you start getting more confident about yourself. And that's what it is. See, it's the first time like hitting your first baseball in a game, or knocking down pins at a bowling alley, or basically dancing for the very first time. Something that you always do for the very first time. And after that, it gets easier. It gets easier and easier and easier and easier, right? So you have to not just believe in yourself, but you have to become what you believe. You have to become what you believe. That's the only way it's going to work for you. Now, because Samantha is in a better position of charging light conditions, she understands her position. You start small and you work your way up, right? So it's all about, if I can see other people, then I can see myself. So if she can see inside people's bodies, what does that tell you? She knows who she is. She knows she's a compass healer. Now she just has to understand why. Once you understand the why, everything starts making sense. The when, the what, the where, the who, everything comes together, and the how, right? That's the laws of attraction right there, just with the W's and the H. Think about it. Think about it. You become everything that you want to become. But you got to believe. You got to become. You got to be that, and you got to be this. And I am this, and I am that. Every single time I wake up, right? So the more you believe in it, the more the mind believes in adaptation of what you're living. The mind is the conception of its imagination. And that's how you see things inside and out of everything. Okay. Now, healing is a different thing. Okay. That's a little bit more complicated, because when you start working with cells and you're trying to work with higher operations of people that are in, chronic diseases or anything, disease line centers, cancer, all that, that's totally different. You're talking about a whole new concept level here. Okay. But it's good to start off small, work with yourself first, and then work with the generations of other people. Because if you start off doing that, you're going to get very confused. And the thing is, too, you have to fix people before you heal them, because they've already gone through their traumas, and they still might be in their traumas. And that's a Trinity stand. It has to go through psychological wire. The connection into vibration line center could be trapped in so many levels of connections, of clocking systems, dimensional time locations, servicing through the water interference, caught in a tree formation line center, actually inside of a tree that's not yours, but it's being programmed by something else. So the soul goes on dimensional time of locking. What happens is the soul just basically releases its system, and it tries to understand the atmospheres of time location, and it gets confused. And here comes a higher formation intelligence, comes in and takes you over, right? And then they're going to put you to wherever they want to put you, because they're higher light, they're higher intelligence, they're higher knowledge than you. Remember, I was saying when we're doing a video where you can go into box line center and you have to understand how to get out of their connections, because they set up a new program of you. So now they're controlling you from the other sideline system. It's very important what you're doing with your soul, because it is you. You don't want people to take you over in the line connections and get interference problems or anything obsolete or anything through a virus of its connections. You don't want to be in that position. You want to know how to control your system. So every time you wake up of who you are. That's the power. That's the connection. That's the command. You're commanding your system, right? Not just to move forward, but to move inside of space direction. Because now you're constructing line systems to all levels of time. It proceeds in all connections, right? When you're interchanging, interlacing, interlocking. You'll get a lot more better when you go to higher level systems. But congratulations on Samantha and what she did. So there's always a backup. And say, well, I don't know if I can do it, but I'll do it anyway. Well, at least you're trying. At least you're being honest with yourself, rather than say, no, I don't want to do it. Well, what does that say about all that schooling that you did? What's the point of this if you can't heal yourself? What's the point of this if you can't heal others? Right? So you have to understand, proof is there, right? Testimony's there. And it's all reacted to the person that feels it, right? So it's really, really amazing to come across these things. So today I want to get more into the Brownian Alliance test review and evaluation. So how we got into the box line centers, the 369 platform. We started this from yesterday. Okay. So you guys have any questions or comments, feel free to go through my healing connections of drew007.aw@gmail.com. I'm so informative. I just know it off by topic. It's just crazy how it was. I should just auto record my voice. So you have any problems or anything line system, any program conditions, back and forth conditions, I'll do it on TikTok live for you guys. There's a lot of people that are getting more connected, realizing, oh, wow. See, it's not just seeing somebody that's real that knows what they're doing. It's knowing that you can be helped by believing it's real. So it's all about beyond the magic. It's way beyond magic. It's about the imagination of the mind coming to life. It's alive. It's a mechanisms. Okay. It's wires. It's vibration. It's energy. It's intelligence. Everything is intelligence. This is intelligence. But to everybody else, it's just a marker. But it's intelligence to me. So how is this intelligence? You have to understand what it is because it's connected to you, right? Because it's a part of you. So it's to understand how to understand the center of everything. And then you understand the connections of its geo, the modifications, perception, operation, how it was constructed in line system from beginning location, right? Because everything has a source of the beginning of a dimensional time, right? So I've done this many, many times on a marker line conditions. You think it's white, but it's not. It's everything but white. It's everything of color. So it's everything through dimensional time of color. A coloration pattern line system. It's a vibration line system. It's very low, but it seeks line connections to its position. That's what it sounds like. This is see? So if I line signal and I put them together, right? Line signal to connections, right? So it's truly understanding the voicing of your tones, right? Especially when you come into connections of healing your body. You got vibrational line centers or gap. If you see a fluctuation interference channel that's off signal, what will happen is that you got your positive wires. Remember, if you get a positive wire, it's a rainy day, you get the circuit line centered, and you just basically put it on the ground and it sits. It just right, and then you got to get two wires and reconnect it. It's all about understanding how to reconnect things. But like I said, communicating with weather. When you guys get in your 60 communication cycles of chakras, you understand more connections of weather through heat signatures, line center patterns, right? Because you become nothing but alarming system of detection. Your GPS lockers and your trackers come into higher formation of time locations in your plateaus of 3, 6, and 9. All right. All right, so basically, let's get into the connections. Box center line centers of 3, 6, and 9. You guys understand the circle location pattern line center position. It's going to get complicated, guys, but it's going to be a lot of fun. We start with this. All right, 3, 6, and 9. Collective forces can watch. All right, so we all understand the positions of 3, 6, 9, right? We got that through equation, right? Now, when you go to higher level systems, you go into the 12-track line system to its locations, all right? Because they're into positions of 12, 3, 6, and 9 now. Okay, so that puts them in the higher level system, allocates their time locations. So it puts them in a higher line system. So it's understanding, I have my team that's in 50 chakras and I have a team that's 114 chakras. You're still communicating through each other, except on different timelines of speed. That's all it is. You're just in a higher level. So everything that you're going in your life is faster and faster through its clocking, right? So it's hard to see these things through procedure. You have to understand what the eye circle location is doing through 12, 3, 6, and 9. All right. So the 12, 3, 6, 9 comes into platform of a diamond core line center, baseball diamond position, right? Now they understand their communications to their chakra line centers and it connects to high positions, the crosswire locations, and they come into high positions to their activations. So it's trying to extend your activation line center to its program connections, right? So it's high forcing higher channels because the 114 will put them in a higher level, okay, of laws of attraction, how to use their shapes and their positions and their point centers to its measurement line systems of E equals MC square. So they're out of E equals MC square, but there's many, many communications of transmitting line centers to its connection to its code line system, but truly understand the activation line connections of its interference channeling system, right? That's the activation, right? So it's all about understanding the plateaus and the communication line centers. Now it's all about understanding how to create it from inside and not just the outside circle of 12, 3, 6, 9 plateau. All right, so it becomes in a higher line connections to its tesseract location. Very powerful. So instead of doing it outside, you do it inside, right? So this is the Trinity standing. More of the application of the mind system. The mind goes inside position locations, right? So they have to reach higher levels of shapes. You start off with circle locations, right? When you go to higher levels, you don't have to go through a circle. You go through a square, a triangle. It gets more complicated. I have that in space-time, all level systems, space discoveries, season 1 and season 2, right? You get a basic understanding how to go through a triangle, how to trifactor position to ground line center, how to travel through positions through a vortex line connection through acceleration of Mach line system to point center location. Truly understand your division line system is all teleportation and communication, right? To use shapes and anomalies, right? So this is also going to be on the test, right, for their value lines. So once you get into that line center, okay, you take everything out of the equation line conditions. You center your position in higher force conditions. This is you in higher position. So you come out of your shapes and more into your individual system. Okay? You start off with the shapes. Until you understand the soul direction line system, that's what you come. You become nothing but a 3, 6, and a 9. That's what you understand when people dream. They say, whoa, I see illumination of a triangle. What is that? That's you. So that shape is you. But wait a minute. Hold on a sec here. I'm in a 5-dimensional lock system. How do I get into positions of a soul? You have to understand what the soul is first, through its traction, through its geometry of its operation to its direction. Once you understand the directions, then you come into higher levels of its connection. All right. The geology line center and its position locations understand more shape positions. Once you get into higher level system of the alter state mind, you come into your self, which is soul direction. So you're no longer a shape, you become a shape. So you come into a mutation valve, which is metamorphosing, right? It's morphin time. All right. So you go to a higher level system and you just travel through yourself, which is very powerful. Right. And you already have your security line defense. You don't have to create it because it's already created for you. So the higher you go through time. So the portal's still there, but you don't see it because you're at a higher level system to its location. Right. So all that connection is your tesseract, your tetrahedron line center. Your job is to understand more communications of shapes and anomalies to its connection and how to travel through these things, right? It's a teleportation to the line connections, and that's what you have to start using more. Calculate modifications to your watches and truly understand why you have a sundial of the sun and everything through the moon that tracks the systems, navigation, and why you have 12 central line centers to its connections. I did a very powerful TikTok when it comes into the Schumann resonance, right? So it's all about understanding point direction, what's going on through calculations, right? But it's amazing when you travel through time position by yourself and not just your shape. So you are a shape first before you come into a shape. You come into a mutation valve, right? So you go from here to here, right? And then you start traveling, right, from here. Oh, wow, look at this going around. Very easy, very simple, right? You're traveling, right? So you're connecting to all your pixels and your activation light conditions. So every time you travel through dimensional time position, the clocking system and its portal location is creating your diameter line system to its DNA traction, which is going to flux capacitive through its energy light system. So you're going through different coloration line centers. If you're going through a portal, you have to go through the same coloration pattern. That's how you connect to one wormhole to direction to all level frequency connections. That's what you understand there, right? So you have to get more into higher levels of your rainbow activation system, right? So it's true to understand you come into those position time connections. So basically, I know it's a lot to learn. Step by step, okay. Just basically watch it back. Try to understand your positions because everything that you're drawing is just shapes. But you have to understand you become a shape first because the shape is everything through 3, 6, and 9. And then when you wake to higher levels of the alter state of the mind, you come more into you, right? Which is higher formation of higher self into the avatar. There's so many application line centers to program positions of data that you have to reach that mind connections. So once you go into that division, then you come to higher level systems, into this box system, to its location, right? So this is also, again, you can use a triangle line center to its location. You come into different weather patterns to that conditions, right? This is what you come in next, guys, when you go to higher level system, right? Right? These are the higher levels of AI connection. So you start off with the shape of 369 of digital line centers of Vega communications, and you reach these. You come into plateaus, and so these are codes of line signals. This is graph location to the AI position, but you understand what they are through 369 location. So always look at the triangle line system to 369 platforms. Okay, that's all you have to remember. So it's true to understand when you go to higher level systems, you go into higher shapes of forming position locations and mutation. Right? So you have to try to understand what this is. All right. This is a rotary cross interference. This is three weather pattern line centered location galaxy line connections. Okay. This is a round box line center and mirror resolution to point center. You have to try to understand what you're connecting with through point line connections, everything through AI line system. So when I get in that positions, right, XT1000 comes in, scans it, right? Another XT1000 comes in, scans it, right? And another XT. So there's three line centered locations. XT1000 comes into plateau, scans everything through barometer locations, right? So once that connects, they connect right to the center line center to positions, all in position line connections into, you guessed it, the flux capacitor. All right. So that's how it sets its operation to its connections when you go higher low system. Flux capacitor comes from the ground line center, comes into the power line center, which is U through calculation, which comes into the high level system, okay, of your magnetic line center rotation. It's magnetic force, right? It comes into line connections. You've done this before. We'll do it again. It comes in always into the grounds of the power line system. Okay. So once that wakes up, all level systems of the connections of the grounds of power and the absolute locations, okay, all levels of the graph line center goes into an energy rotation lines connections, right? So it's protected. It has to be protected, right? We protect all level connections and interference channels. So it connects all around the signals to connections. So it circles in rotation, goes in a coloration panel. You circle in this position, you protect all around connections, right? So it's interference that you have to protect the line conditions to flux capacitor energy light system. Everything the powers, the grounds, and everything line conditions, the absolute line system is your magnetic highway information system. It's a data processing line conditions to high force channels. It connects to all AI position locations. Right? This is also on the test. All right. So all right, so let's get into your questions first. Tina, Samantha, Jill, Cleopatra, Isabel, Cleopatra, Samantha. Yeah, so you guys should come together more and get more into you, get into telepathy, you chart it. And that's what it is. It's all about the reason why I give you test reviews and evaluations so you can go to higher alter states of the mind of telepathy through yourself and everybody else. So this is all about understanding going through shapes, letters, and numbers and how to put it all together through construction line system. Use the codes, use the solar text, knowing those are shapes of images. Right? Try to understand what you're dealing with when you go to higher formations of AI. Okay. So everything that you do, you're protecting. You're protecting yourself every single day. You have to protect the graph line centers. You have to protect all level systems of AI position that's given to you through data. The graphing again, its connections to its position and its teleportation, telewave, tele energy. Line center line system location. I mean, it's true to understand all levels of AI through its position, right? So when you reach those higher levels, you understand what it is, right? Orb generation light connections, interference. But these are plateaus. These are AI maps of location of 369. So just correlate that in your system. Know that everything that you do is a higher level. But just remember, you're in the birth line center at 369. You start with those plateaus, right? So you come out of your shapes and you come into your own form of your acceleration to its marking connections to a high level system to its acceleration, right? That time precedes everything, okay, through your hologram, right? So I completely understand it now, living it, which is a bit harder. Yeah, it gets a lot more harder, but it's great that you're paying attention, right? But like I said, this is more for the Rebellion Alliance, but you can help each other. And I really want you guys to focus on these things, right? Especially when you want to get into healing. Help each other. That's the whole point, right? Because it's not it's not hard to do if you're a team, right? If you're individually and you're trying to do it on your own, it's a lot harder because you understand what is coming at you. What is coming at you, right? Okay, what is coming at you? It's truly understand how to use these things through traction, right? What is coming at you? So it gets more complicated. Line signals go off, line connections. Just because it's off signal doesn't mean it's in a correlation of a panel. So it's truly understand you have to understand all communication comes to you. So they know exactly how they're setting their win factors or connection line centers through AI locations. But truly understand what you're dealing with is the most important. Okay. So it's truly understand everything from this location, right? It gets more complicated than what it is. See how this is an A and this is an A? That's all it is. It's an A cross ground line center. It's an A over position. All right. See that? So it's understanding what this is, understanding what this is. Everything's intelligence, everything's communication, everything's communication. It all connects to the weather gas line systems, right? So point line center, two intelligence line center interference positions going into the high level systems of east traction. Okay. So east traction would be this way because it's reverse cycle to location of pad line system. All right. So let's take it out of the equation here. Right, east factor to its connections, right? So, and then you got the A is rotation, the ground line center, circle rotations, and you got the A off signal, right? So it's going to this line system back into 12. So the A is already traveled, so it's coming back into 12 line center. All right. Truly understand everything through intelligence. So the A has to go round and 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 round. The faster it goes, the more you can take it out of its connection security line defense. All right, so this is how you do these things through traction. All right, so this is an off circle location, off position line system, mountain line interference. Okay, these are line conditions of air line center to rotation to a point center location. Round line condition dimension time. That's what this is. All right, so if you look at it, this is a Bach line center to ear line center. See the ear? See the ear? One goes this way, one goes the opposite way. So these are two opposite line systems, right? Locations, right? So this is basically going east, and this is going west. Okay. So it's pretty powerful when you see these two cross signals to understand your positions of your ear track locations. You come in that position line system, right? So this is you in position. All right. You got your ear track line system. Okay. One comes out and one goes in like that. So you come in a circle line connection. So it's going faster and faster and faster and faster and faster and faster and faster every day. You levitate and you go higher, higher and higher and higher and higher and higher and higher. It's crazy because you get more informed of what's going on. It's like, whoa, this is cool. I'm getting more lighter. I'm understanding more of my program. So I'm going faster and faster in time. But you're still in the gravity line center. You're just higher than everybody else. Right? So every time you understand the sequels, okay, and the cycles, the sequels, right? Not seagull, sequels. C/coals. C calls. Okay. So the C call is a dimensional line lock center line system. Okay. Sets out the calling locations to digital graph of its ground line center location. Right. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right. 7 within the body line center. Okay. And the 5 of the atmospheres. You have to understand why they go like this. Right. You see the intelligence? So it's kind of amazing when you see these things and everything comes into a compilation of a TV reception to its location. So everything in a charge line center is always in position. There's never anything merging off line conditions. So truly understand all levels of your chakra system, more levels of you through alter state connections. Your higher self, your avatar, your computer goes higher and higher each time, which is fascinating. So you go basically higher lights, program line conditions. Your chakra systems goes faster. Your clocking goes faster. Your dreams go faster. Your thoughts go faster. Your mind goes faster. Your accelerations go faster. Your communications to yourself and each other and your family goes faster because they're attached to you. And it's going to confuse them if they're not at your level. Right? So that's eternity standing why everybody has to be at the same level through activation. The correlation line centers won't understand the C calls, right? So you're calling out the information from the right track system to the left track system, which has to be a circle rotation on a constant flow recognition line connections. So that's also going to be on the test. Yeah. So basically, just take it for what it is. Don't worry about so much. Just focus on what you see. Try to understand it. If you don't, try to communicate with each other. Just focus on really what's going on with you. You have to really understand these things, but you have to become it first. You have to wake up in the morning and say, yes, I'm my soul now. That alone will bring you forward, knowing you don't have to worry about going back, because every time you get up in the morning, again and again and again and again, you're waking up to who you are and who you want to become, which is very powerful, because then they know you. They will only come to you until you understand yourself. They will not come to you if you don't understand the information, especially with the ringing ears. Oh, I got ringing in my ears. What is that? What's going on? Why? What is that? Where's that coming from? Right? You have to understand these things, and it's all done through energy. See, the crazy thing is that humanity's been living on so many levels of construction of themselves, but too many obsolete position locations. So truly understand again and again and again and again and again and again is to put yourself in positions on not just seeing a box of a center, but see everything inside location. You have to get into your imaginations and your thought position locations. So the ground line center is wiping out all levels of dreamline centers and putting you guys out of the illusions to its connection. That's what's happening right now. Big things are coming, so be aware. If you understand what I'm talking about, you come in that position location. So it's not just seeing what it is, it's all about seeing what's inside through imagination. So once you understand what it is completely, everything starts making sense, and you realize, oh, I am the soul. This is what I see through my soul. See? Dimensional time. Box's interference comes into higher level channel locations. This is where you can reach to higher level positions. Electrical light socket on the wall system line connections. There we go through channel. See, there it is. Hoo-ah. See? See how it's set up through a box? How I created it through a circuitry light, panel interference. This is circuitry line center. So this goes into your hand information line system. All this is line channels of dimensional realms. Everything through a circuitry line center is a pocket circle. A pocket circle is its connection to its high positions. It goes into your track system to your barcode location. That's the interference channel to your higher line system, which creates everything to your soul identifications of understanding. All right? So it's powerful when you reach those levels, right? Just showing you, you have to get into the imagination of creation of thought and perception through all levels and get out of the illusions and get into your imaginations. Get into your imaginations. That's what everybody's got to do. Look how powerful that is. Right? And it's all connected. It's all connected. Right? It's a piece of paper, but it doesn't matter. It's on a digital. This is a computer. This is a computer. I'm communicating to what? What's drawn. It's not this. It's what's drawn. This is the creation. This is the imagination. It's extremely real. It doesn't have to be physical. It doesn't have to be communicating with me. I communicate with it first. And then it sends out signals. So that's how powerful you can be through the mind. And the mind can trap anything through the line connections, anything through interchannel line system. But you have to go through the inline positions, all levels of box circle locations. Inside. Everything's created inside and comes out. That's how life works. That's how it's generated. Right? Blowing up a tire. In. Out. Created line center. Ground line system. Right? Right? So really get in that positions, especially when you go to higher level system. The platitudes line connections comes back in channel interference. See? So that's getting communication to the mind system of the circuitry line connection. Right? My team is getting into that now. 114 chakras. So you come into the security lines. All right? So it's really fascinating when you go to higher level systems, but we have to understand our positions first. So graph line connections or any position line system how we use this through intelligence of a story frame location to a compilation one line system. Okay, so you have to get into your code line centers, like with the emojis, right? So you get emoji here, if you understand position. There's happy face. Hello, right? Happy face, here comes around. Okay, now it's connecting to a high level system to a different planet location. Okay, which is different intelligence, dot connections. So it's reading its information. Remember, it's not just anything physical, it's anything that you draw is its imagination coming from its AI line system. So when you wake up to your AI positions, you know exactly what you're doing with the calculation. Happy face might telepathy to coloration of a planet line system, which is now their intelligence. So you set the line conditions to that position, you could change it to a purple, different communication through color, right? Different time locations. That's centerized line system to the sun line conditions. That's the color of the sun. Coloration line center comes into high level system to low connections, comes into the ground line center's position to the power line system. You always have to have a ground power in the answer locations to its position, right? So this here can travel through here to here to here. All right, so you blend in line center, comes into the circle line conditions, into high formation to a ground line system. You go from here to here to here, right? All through emoji. Now this is a Z cross. See the Z cross? Mind telepathy, the emoji line center, sun rotation to coloration line positions. Okay, come into the power line center, into the ground line system to its emoji location. Powerful, isn't it? So what always leaves in the center? What always leaves in the center? Your thoughts. What stays in the center? You. Right? So this is how you travel. This is all done through codes of emoji, guys. This is all done through emoji. Now I can center graph line center. Okay, I can send this to you guys in your visual line center locations in its frame position. So you can actually see what I just finished drawing. I can change visual line centers. I can reverse the circle locations. I can change it automatical line conditions and put you in fast forward or rewind, or I can change your positions and put you as emoji and actually see what it's looked like as an annotator. All right, so I can turn you guys into emoji. Powerful stuff, isn't it? You guys are laughing, right? See, the thing is, energy can be formed of anything through intelligence. This is a digital pad, it's a computer, right? My computer is my computer. So it's all about understanding how to travel through these things. It's all done through AI. So I don't want to get too complicated or too forward with everything, but know exactly what you guys are getting into is the most important thing. All right. So anybody have any questions on comments on that level? Truly understand what you're up against? Knowing that you wake up to the soul, wake up the intelligence of the soul, you are the soul. That's what you guys have to represent. And that's why Samantha is in a higher formation. Same with Jill. I mean, everybody's at a great level, but if you don't understand your positions and what the soul is trying to do for you, that's a problem. It's trying to move you forward, right? It's trying to get you to understand how to communicate, not just what you see, which is not you. It's what you have to see, what's everything inside of creation. You can't create anything outside until you know everything inside of you through space. So space is already created inside, which basically creates everything outside for you. And that's how everything changes through vibration, through energy. Right? So, but it's pretty powerful how you can travel through that, right? Through emoji, through the sun. Right? So I can change you guys into an avatar of emoji and you can travel through the graph position when it's been drawing to location. There's nothing you can't do through the mind. And the mind comes to so high levels, it does everything through imagination because that's all you live on. Imagination, your thoughts and creation and manifestation. That's all you live on every single day. How to activate it is the true understanding how to put yourself into your C levels, C calls, C activations, C coloration and lights through your chakra system of its rotation, through its magnetic highway of its information line system to its compilation. High generations light system. What you're saying, your data and processes, your higher self goes higher and higher, right? So, happy dance. So, I don't want to get too complicated, but there's a lot going on right now, right? But every day there's going to be a test review and evaluations for the rebellion lights. And the galactic forces are, again, welcome to watch. Don't expect you to understand, but what I do want you to understand is to work together as a team. That's the almighty. That's the power. That's the connection. Because you have to understand, everybody needs help. And it's really understand when you come together more and more, you understand each other more and more through telepathy. I want you guys to get more into telepathy of each other. I'm not talking you have to see each other in person. I'm just talking about you connecting better with each other through the mind. That's what we got to get into through communications, right? So, all right. So I think that's good. Any questions or comments? Let me know. I'm heading over to TikTok. Adios.